this short video, we're going to be talking about plant cell walls. Plant cell walls serve two basic functions. One, to provide mechanical strength to the plant, and two, to prevent osmotic lysis. This essentially means to prevent the cell from bursting. So if we were to place a plant cell in a solution that was less concentrated than the contents of the cell, water would enter that cell by osmosis, and as the cell swelled and the cell membrane started to push against the cell wall would push back with an equal and opposite pressure. This is called turgor pressure, and this is really, really important in plants. As you probably remember from GCSE, plant cell walls are made primarily of cellulose. Cellulose is a structural carbohydrate made up of repeating monomers of beta-glucose. I'm just going to draw a single monomer of beta-glucose in its most complex form, and then we'll draw it out really simply to the bits that we really care about when we're thinking about cellulose. When beta-glucose molecules join together and form glycosidic bonds between them with condensation reactions and form these polymers, which we call cellulose, they rotate by 180 degrees for each monomer. It's this rotation of the molecule that allows them to form this straight chain, as opposed to when other carbohydrates are formed. For instance, when starch is formed with alpha glucose, they don't rotate 180 degrees, and therefore it forms this curved structure, and it forms things that we learn about like alpha helices. Each of these straight chains is known as a microfibril. These microfibrils then join together via hydrogen bonds to form fibrils. So let's just think about that for a second. Let's imagine here's one microfibril, and this microfibril is joined to the next microfibril by many hydrogen bonds. It's the large number of hydrogen bonds that provides the mechanical strength. If you look at the cell wall under the electron microscope, it looks like a patchwork quilt. This is because the fibrils form at right angles to each other to provide extra tensile strength. Other than cellulose, the cell wall also contains a substance called pectin, which is found within the middle lamella. The job of pectin essentially is to glue adjacent cells together. Now, pectin is an acidic structural heteropolysaccharide, which is a really long word, but essentially means it's a big sugar, and you don't really need to worry about that too much. The final thing that we're going to talk about in terms of plant cell walls is plasmodesmata. Plasmodesmata are small cytoplasmic channels which allow cytoplasm to stream from one plant cell to the next. Plants don't have a circulatory system in the same way that mammals do, so they have to rely on other methods for cell signaling molecules and plant hormones to travel between the plant cells, and that's the job of plasmodesmata. They are essentially small holes that exist in the cell wall and the cell membrane to allow cytoplasmic streaming. that is essentially at this point everything that you need to know about the plant cell wall. Just a little bit of extra information just to tell you what other cell walls are made of. So algae have cell walls that are made mainly of cellulose and glycoproteins. Fungi have cell walls that are mainly made of chitin, glycan and glycoproteins. And bacteria have cell walls mainly made of murine and peptidoglycan. And that's it for now. Well done.